Picture It, Los Angeles, 2024.
Oh, welcome to Out on the Lanai, the only Golden Girls podcast you're ever going to need to listen to. I'm HAlanScott / Sadie Pines.
I'm Kerri Doherty, and today we're doing another Golden Rewind where we go back and rewatch our favorite episodes of the Golden Girls and offer new insights since we first started breaking down these episodes way back in 2014. And we are at the 4th of July picnic, Biff. It's a long summer holiday week. So we thought that we'd watch the closest thing to a patriotic episode. We chose the season 5 finale, The President's Coming. Today we'll be breaking down part 1, and we'll be breaking down part 2 next 4th of July.
When Kerri texted me this, I always love saying this when we record episodes early, just because, like, I would hate if we scheduled this episode and then like something crazy big happens in the world and like we're just sort of like la-di-da, la-di-da. So we're recording this early, so it's not even 4th of July for us yet.
We're in
FYI.
We're in June still while we're recording this.
We're in early June, and if you guys recall, a couple episodes ago, I have had a very traumatic start to June. And so when Kerri texted me this, I was like, is this just my grief-stricken trauma brain happening here, or am I reading this correctly? She wants to do part 1 in 2024 and part 2 in 2025. That's quite correct. Get it. And then as soon as I started thinking about it, I was like, that is so fucking funny. So we will be back in 2025.
Well, not that the podcast is taking a hiatus.
Oh no, we're going to be here
2025. We're not going anywhere.
We're just absolutely not doing this.
But it's going to end on a cliffhanger, and you're not going to find out what happens next for a year. It's also, like we're an HBO streamer where we're like, fuck you, you'll wait.
Yeah, we're like Curb Your Enthusiasm, where they go off the air for like 5 years.
Or I guess like the Real Housewives of Dubai. I don't watch it, but someone said that show was off the air for over, was it a year or 2 years? 2 years, I think.
Like a little over a year, sure. But that doesn't, a show being off the year doesn't surprise me. I mean, when it goes off the year. No, I think
it was 2, like almost to the day. I don't know. I'm just saying this is what people say.
But I also want to say the title of this episode, I don't know why when you say it specifically, it sounds like a threat.
Oh, I thought you were going to say maybe it sounds sexual, because I noticed I was like a little breathy because I think I'm recording right above little Oreo's bedroom. And so I think I was trying to be a little bit more quiet. So in my head, when you said that, I thought that I went, the president's coming, but that's not what you think I said it menacingly. How did I say it?
The president's coming. Like almost like it was like a like oh my god, we have to clean and run and hide or do something, hide the drugs, I don't know, like it just felt very like, which I'm sure like
we're in the break room and everybody's like messing around and not working because they work around the clock and their lives are so hard, and somebody quickly runs in, they're like Denise runs in, she's like, guys, the president's coming. Yeah. Like, put your shirts back on and put out just that cigarette. That.
Yeah, stop looking at porn. Yeah, no.
Wow, that's how I said it, huh?
Yeah, you gave me that vibe. Like, it kind of gave me the vibe of like when my building management sends me an email saying they're coming for inspections, and I'm like, oh, fuck. And then I'm scared because I always think, like, I have a real fear of authority. I have a real fear. I mean, I'm good with authority. I'm good communicating with authority. But I do have a anxiety leading up to the confrontation with authority, you know what I mean? And so I sorry, hold on 1 second, I think I locked Michael in the room.
Oh no, Michael,
accidentally. Wait, we're gonna take it. I'll just keep this in.
Keep it in here. While you're doing that, I'm gonna show for everybody watching on Patreon or YouTube, I'm drinking, this is Waterloo Summerberry. I highly recommend for the summertime.
So funny. It's
very patriotic looking. That's what? Okay. I was showing them my Waterloo drink, my Summerberry. Look how patriotic that looks. That looks very summery. How's Michael? Is he okay?
So I just this feels like a Rusty Anchor happy hour. Speaking of, go subscribe to our Patreon because
this week we're showing off our favorite Golden Girls memes and a YouTube video that my toddler's obsessed with that you're all gonna have stuck in your head. Patreon.com/Golden Girls Podcast. Okay, go.
Yeah. I feel like we're a mess this week. So this is just what we're gonna be. This is just what we're gonna be. Because I'm a mess. I look greasy today. I feel very like not pretty. Anyway, Michael, we have a 2-bedroom apartment, right? And one of the bedrooms is obviously our work room. And I closed the door. And Michael, as a designer, as everyone knows, and he works with clothes, and he has a ironing board outside the bedroom in the hallway. And so when we record, we usually just close the door so he can be back there sewing and make any noise or do whatever he needs to do. So he can also be worked and not bothered by us. But when I closed the door, the ironing board was close to the doorknob, and the doorknob is one of those, like, the long ones that go like that. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And so when he tried to open the door, it wouldn't go down because the ironing board was on it, so he was locked in there. Which that just tells me that if we ever get into a situation where like a burglar gets into the apartment, when they get into that room, we're putting the door. I'm pushing the ironing board against the door so that they're stuck in there because I don't have a weapon. I mean, what weapons do I have?
Wow, that's like the equivalent of like
I have a
shoving the
fan.
chair under the. Yeah, I know. What kind of weapons do you have?
Yeah, I
You have
a
your
fan.
ceramic R mug.
Yeah, exactly. I have
So
nothing here.
when you freed Michael, did you poke your head inside the door and go, "The president's coming"? Like
The president's coming. A threat. Hide it. No, yeah, I do fear authority. Back to that. I do fear authority. I have anxiety around authority. I have an anxiety around what authority might do if they, like, for example, like, I mean, when they come into the apartment, it's like that feels so intimate. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I don't like it when people come into my space.
Yeah, when they have to come. I mean, people like you can come in, but like people who I don't like coming in, it's very
people who are there for a job, people who are there
also,
for.
Can I just complain for a second? This is
Yes,
not about the
please
episode
do.
at all. But this is a rusty anchor.
Let's do it.
This
Just,
is the essence of a rusty anchor.
It's summertime. We're all kind of letting loose this month.
Yes,
please.
My building manager.
Boo.
I'm not here. Yes, I'm not here to judge people. I'm not. But if you're a person and you encounter a fairly obvious homosexual, right? Like, it's not, you look at me, you look at my apartment, and you're like, wow, homosexual.
There's a lot of dolls, yeah.
There's a lot of dolls, like homosexual. And she hasn't said anything about me being queer, but she calls me darling. And I'm like, I'm an adult human person thing. Like, and I don't mind you I wouldn't question her calling me darling in any other situation, but it feels very like she doesn't call anyone else darling other than me because I'm queer. Do you know what I mean?
No, because I'm not. But
well, yeah.
But you're saying, because initially I was thinking, you know how there's like that waitress that always calls you hun? Can I get you something else, hun?
That's different.
But it sounds like, but what you're saying is you think it's just something that's said to you. And how does she say it?
Darling.
Is it like, how there, darling?
No.
Is she Southern?
No, that's the thing. She doesn't even sound Southern. And
is she like a darling? Hello there, darling.
No, it's not like that. It's like a loaded darling. It's like when she says it and she's like, darling, we're gonna try. We're just doing everything we can to fix this, darling. And it just feels, I don't know. It feels like a judgmental darling. It feels like it feels like a very loaded darling. It feels like something that.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
Yeah, there's just something to it, and maybe I'm putting that on her. If you say darling to people, that's fine. Because I call people babe and honey and all those things too, but in like a sort of like a like the waitress hun way, and that to me is fine.
I think it, like, when you just isolate a darling, it's hard to tell, but what other type of things she says to you and the way she talks to you and her tone. Yeah. And so based on all that stuff. She's just a little too
casual. Like there's just a casualness. And that's the other thing too. We don't have that kind of relationship, and it's not a service industry type relationship. So there's not that intimate exchange of food or anything like casualness around it. There's a literal, like, I pay you, not you specifically, but I pay the people you work for thousands of dollars to be able to live in this shitty place. And yet, I mean, it's not shitty. We live in a lovely place, but, and I pay you all this money, and it's like, that casualness, I don't like.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's just me.
That's kind of tough. I think you have really good instincts, So if you're picking up on like a loaded kind of like
Darling.
vibe, then I think you're probably right. In which case,
Yeah.
fuck you, Denise.
Yeah, I don't think her name's Denise. But,
well, I know, but I was bringing it back to the woman who ran into the break room and said, the president's coming.
Oh, the president's
Okay, before we talk about this episode. Oh, okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, please.
I was going to ask you about.
I was going to talk more about this episode.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you quickly about the 4th of July because
sure.
when most people think of the 4th of July, they think cookouts, the beach, pool parties, sunshine, things that are very much not so much up your alley. So how do you like to spend the holiday, and or what is your most memorable 4th of July?
Yeah, I'm not a beach person. My friend Mason, who I love dearly, I really love him dearly. He has a birthday around this time, and he was like, I'm having a beach party. I know this is weird for you. Does that prevent you from coming? And I was like, kind of, yes, it does. I understand it's your birthday, and I will buy you lunch. I will buy you all of these things. I will treat you. I will show you my love. But me on a beach, it's uncomfortable for everybody. It really is. And I make it known how uncomfortable I am, thus ruining everyone's day. And I know that about me. So, like, don't invite me to a beach. How do I do 4th of July? I don't really do 4th of July, to be honest, because usually my 4th of July is more of just sort of a precursor to my birthday, which is just 6 days later. And so to me, 4th of July has just always been sort of the pre-party for me. You know what I mean? I'm not saying my identity and existence is equal to that of the United States of America, but you know, in my little brain it is. And so every single firework, every single party, every single barbecue is really just a lead up celebration of everyone celebrating me.
I mean, you really are like a bunch of bright lights in our sky when you think about it.
That's so stupid. No,
wearing
I don't
all
really,
black.
I do love, I mean, I don't really care about 4th of July, and I do have an uncomfortable relationship with patriotism, and that's a whole other podcast and conversation. But so I don't really care about that part, but I do enjoy 4th of July food. I love a hot dog. Oh my God. I love one of the first things I do when I go to Disney. I was at Disney yesterday. Again, we're recording this in 2022.
When we were 21 years old.
Yes. I walked into Disney and I got that hot dog, and again, because of trauma moment, I sat down and I ate the shit out of that hot dog, and it was it was better than therapy. Sorry, BetterHelp.
I love a hot dog.
They're just delicious. And
what do you put on your hot dog? What do you put on? Oh,
I'm very simple with my hot dog. I just want ketchup.
I like ketchup, mustard, and minced raw onion.
I mean, I've done that, and I can get into that, and I can get into
a sauerkraut.
I can get into a chili dog. So I can't get into a sauerkraut, but I can get into a chili dog. I can get into those things with cheese and all those things. I can get into those things. They're very much an occasion thing. It's very much a, like, I'm not going anywhere because I'll be in the restroom for the rest of the day thing. But I will do it. But really, just give me a plain hot dog with like ketchup on it, and wow. But also like watermelon. I love potato salad. I don't know why I associate this. Maybe it's just because of the former Mormon in me, but I love Jell-O. I feel like that's a 4th of July thing. What corn on the cob? Oh my God, corn on the cob.
Macaroni salad.
Worth it. No, I don't do macaroni salad. I don't do macaroni.
Oh, I like macaroni salad.
No, I don't. I think it's the word salad that gets in my way, but I don't like it.
I hear you. I think potato salad is better. When I was pregnant with little Oreo, there was like a week where all I could eat was warm potato salad. And here's what I would do. Not warm like when Michael Scott left it out in the sun in that episode of The Office.
Would you heat it up?
So I would boil the potatoes. I wouldn't let them cool. I would boil the potatoes, and when they were done, I would just put them right into a strainer and immediately put them, and they were pre-chopped, immediately put them into a bowl, slap some mayo on it, salt, pepper, dill, parsley, and then I would just eat it. But the potatoes were still hot, so it was like hot potato salad. And that's all I could eat for like a week straight. I couldn't eat anything besides warm potato salad.
What do you think because this is a Golden Girls podcast, what do you think the girls, like, we know what Betty White eats, but like, what
Hot
do you
dogs.
think? Yeah, she would just go for the hot dogs. But what do you think the girls, the characters, would go for on 4th of July? What would be their go-to foods?
I
For
feel
me,
like, yeah, please.
I feel like, I don't know why I think this, but I have a feeling that Dorothy, a secret, just like she used to work at that malt shop or whatever, you remember? And she was, I have a feeling that she loves barbecue, like barbecue ribs.
Messy.
And messy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking messy eater. She is like licking the meat, vegetarians, off the bone, and she is just a mess. And she's just kind of like, it's my thing. I know it's disgusting. I'm disgusting. I'm a disgusting human, but let me have my thing.
Fine sitting by herself at that picnic table with a paper plate, going to town on some ribs. I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
I think Sophia would be drawn to anybody putting some kind of sausage on the grill, anybody putting some kielbasa on there, something.
That's so interesting because I think
she'd like a sausage.
I think, sorry guys, if you're watching this on YouTube or on Patreon, my hair is a mess and I keep messing with it. I don't think Sophia would go in the meat direction because I feel like Sophia, I mean, we know from that episode or in season 1, she ate all that food and nearly had a heart attack and died. So she can
esophageal spasm. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just said yeah.
I know you did.
But I have a feeling she would be more old school, like 1950s, like ambrosia salad situation.
Oh God, an ambrosia salad. To you
Michael
young people,
loves an ambrosia
look
salad.
it up.
Wait.
I don't hate it. I don't hate an ambrosia salad.
Michael, what fan? Oh, the room's closed. He's locked in. Never mind.
Yeah, don't. You've miseried him.
I can't get into an ambrosia salad. I can't. But Michael's family loves it. I don't understand ambrosia. Oh, here he is. What about you do ambrosia salad different? You don't do a Jello type thing. No. How do you guys do it? It's like whipped cream, marshmallows,
yeah,
fruit, in just a bowl. Yeah, and do you guys? I mean, did you ever do a gelatin one? Or a thick ambrosia salad? Because that's not yours isn't thick. Yours is creamy.
Yeah, no, mine was.
It's
creamy.
Like whipped cream.
Yeah, mine was creamy. Yeah.
Interesting. That's
yeah.
Yeah, and he says it's delicious.
Oh, it is delicious.
I can't get into it.
I think Blanche would be over at Blanche would have a melon baller and a watermelon and a bottle of vodka.
Yeah, I can see that. I can also see her saying that she doesn't eat very much, and she's just like, I just peck at little things, you know what I mean?
And she pecks the whole day.
And she pecks the whole day, so that like everything is half ate by the time everyone gets over to the barbecue, and she has such indigestion.
Oh, I just do a little pecking. That's all. I'm watching my figure.
I'm just a little peckish, so I'm just gonna have a little bit of this rib.
I could see Rose getting lost in the layers of a trifle. Like I could see Rose getting confused by a trifle in one of those giant clear containers and like not totally knowing how to eat it, or maybe like being confused about something with the trifle. But I could see her being at the dessert table with the trifle for a while.
Pulling a Michael Scott and confusing that you shouldn't have mayonnaise sitting out in the sun for a long period of time, and then everyone gets sick, and then Dorothy's the only one who doesn't get sick
because all she ate was the ribs,
and she's just covered in barbecue sauce. She's like, "You guys should have had the ribs."
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's exactly what they would have done. I loved 4th of July when I was a kid because I lived on a cul-de-sac and. Every year, my family would have a cookout, and I meant to grab, maybe I'll do it for Rusty Anchor Happy Hour or something, but I meant to grab a clip from my grandma used to bring her camcorder everywhere from the time I was 5 years old till I was graduated high school. And so every summer on the 4th of July, my family would host a big cookout.
Oh, that's cute.
It was so much fun.
We would go to the lake a lot. Like my grandparents. Yeah, my grandparents, well, there was this place in Missouri that Lake of the Ozarks, but but we wouldn't go to Lake of the Ozarks, although I did that as well. But there was like a resort that we would sometimes go to that my grandparents would go to, and God, it was boring, but it was so fun. They had a little tiny movie theater there, and
that's fun.
nobody would go see the movies. Like nobody would go see, but
And
I
that's
would
your
always.
jam.
I
Summertime,
would
some AC,
some AC. I saw. I mean,
movies.
there are oh God, the Bette Midler Lily Tomlin film. I forget the name of it now,
Oh
but
yeah.
that's where I first watched that. I mean, I watched Driving Miss Daisy. I oddly fell in love with at that movie theater, like because they would play movies because they knew that kids. I was the only kid who would go to the movies, and so it was always like the adults who were like, "I'm escaping the kids." And yeah, God, that was fun. That I remember.
Fun.
That
That's
I remember.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my childhood years were definitely way more fun. We used to my dad and my next door neighbors, like the dads in the cul-de-sac where we lived, would light off fireworks in the cul-de-sac, and even though it was just like a couple of dads running around doing it, they always managed to be really good with the timing, and they did have a big finale at the end. And we would just put those
fun.
like those lawn chairs that are like kind of plastic. They're made out of that material where you would make those like bracelets out of them. It's like a bendable plastic lawn chair. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Or those ones where it's like that fabric that's like so rough and it's almost plastic. I don't know, 80s lawn chairs. And we would just like bust those out and just line them up on my front lawn. So
that's fun.
That was a good time. Yeah.
Well, I do want to talk. We should take a break, but I do want to talk about, before we get into the episode, a little bit about the president situation, because I have some questions and thoughts and things to say about
Great.
this. So let's take a breaky poo and we'll come right back. Ooh, yay. Hail to the chief. Dun, 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 dun.
Sounded so enthusiastic.
And we are back. Okay, so have you ever met a president?
I was going to ask you, not this exact question, but something similar. No.
Interesting. I have. I've met a few.
The closest is I used to date a guy whose uncle.
You used to date the president?
Yeah, I used to date a guy. You may know him. His name's Barack.
Can you imagine?
Can you imagine? No, I used to date a guy, an Australian named Jake, whose uncle was married to Jimmy Carter's granddaughter.
Oh,
but I mean, if I'm going to be connected to a president,
he's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, oldest living president ever in history.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, because I used to work in politics, but also I was like very like, obviously political when I was a kid and stuff. So I've met Jimmy Carter. Obviously not when he was president because I wasn't alive. But I met
no, because we were born in 1999.
Yeah. No, so I met Jimmy Carter at like a book signing in Missouri once for something.
Did you say, hey, do you know your granddaughter's husband's cousin's girl that he's hooking up with this summer? Did you ask him that?
No, I didn't. And I've met Bill Clinton a number of times, but one when he was president, and then when I worked in New York I worked for Hillary Clinton, so like I met Bill Clinton a few times. And then I met George W. Bush when I was in high school. He was president. I was on some sort of like youth and government trip because I was youth governor of Missouri. Every state has one.
Wow.
And then I met. Sounds like I'm bragging. I met Barack Obama before he was president. I didn't meet him when he was president. But when he was U.S. senator, and I was working in campaigns in Illinois, and that's when I met him because he was running for U.S. Senate. So I met him before he was president, and the same thing with Donald Trump. I met him.
Oh, excuse me.
I met him a few times before he was president, never when he was president. But so I have met presidents, but actual sitting presidents, I have only met one that was in office when I met them, I guess. Yeah.
Bill Clinton, yeah.
Well, yes, Bill Clinton. I guess two, George W. Bush.
Out of all of those, which one stands out in your mind? Not necessarily as like the best experience, but like the most memorable experience.
That's a good question. I mean, I'm biased here just because of the amount of time I was able to spend with this person, but like Bill Clinton, just because it was like multiple occasions, and it was more than just like a very quick conversation. You know what I mean? It
Right.
was like an actual thing. But Barack Obama is a fucking superstar. Like, and I will say too, and this is no politics completely aside here. I don't want to get into any politics, but I will say that there is something about George W. Bush. There is something about the likability of George W. Bush that was very inviting. You know what I mean?
Politics aside, I can 100% see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I it's like I have no. I mean, my politics are my politics, but like, he was just like a nice. Donald Trump, though, always is kind of just skizzy.
Mm-hmm. I love that you literally had to take a sip of your tea to get the taste of the thought of talking to that man out of your mouth.
I met Donald Trump twice on two different occasions, all through like New York work related things, you know, and every single time it just was like there just wasn't the dynamic of like when I met the others, and he wasn't personal, and it was just sort of like there's just this I mean, and I don't even care about like I would say if Donald Trump was a nice person and like chatted with me, I would say that. I would definitely say that. And like politics aside, just say that moment he was good. I can't say that, but I can say that with all of the others. Yeah.
Okay. The president's coming.
The president's coming.
What? The president is coming. Wait, how should I have said it? The president's coming. This sounds like In Death Becomes Her when Goldie Hawn is practicing.
Yes.
Madeline, I have to speak to Madeline at once. And she's spritzing herself.
Yes.
Madeline, I have to speak to Madeline.
Everyone listening, I mean, we know this about ourselves. This is a 4th of July episode, so this is just unhinged and crazy. Yes, we are a half hour into it, and we have not talked about the episode at all.
But it's a clip show episode, so there actually isn't as much for us to talk about.
It's a holiday. This is our barbecue.
You're getting a little bit of a Rusty Anchor happy hour. Okay, here's what I do want to talk about with this episode and this season in particular, season 5. What's really interesting about season 5 in the Golden Girls, season 5 started with a 2-parter,
the
Sick and Tired.
Yeah.
And it ended with a 2-parter.
And it was like 27 episodes in the season, which is like, that's a lot of episodes.
I think technically this might have aired as a 1-hour season finale, but we're going to consider it a 2-parter. And honestly, a 2-parter clip show at the end of the season feels like the writers were sick and tired. Like they were like, dear God, please just let us. Okay, we can't generate new stories. We're just going to do this. Yeah. So we've talked about on the podcast before, I think the difference between a clip show and a vignette show. At least that's how I feel like we like to refer to them as. A clip show is an episode where they're going back and they're showing clips from previous episodes with some kind of have already aired with some kind of new narrative structure built around it to present them versus
or no narrative. I mean, they transitioned to clips here with no setup at all.
Yeah, there is some where you can tell maybe the writers weren't 100% sure what clip they were going to show versus a vignette episode like the birthday one where we're just seeing these little Valentine's Day where we're seeing these vignettes, all new, just short scenes.
Yeah.
And what I kind of liked about this clip show is that it was a little bit of like the best of the women. Like each time the Secret Service agent interviewed one of them, we'd get to see a bunch of funny, moments of them over the past, 4 or 5 seasons. So just overall, that's what I enjoyed about this one.
I didn't mind it, but of all, like we talk about this often, but like episodes you go back to and you watch often, this is not one because there's really nothing new to it,
Mm-hmm. And this one was fun. It starts with a Sophia scheme. I love give me peddling bacon, lettuce, and potato sandwiches, bottled water from the hose out back.
Yeah.
Like this week it starts, there's another scheme. President Bush is coming to town. The motorcade's going to be going right past their house. So she wants to buy sunscreen in bulk and sell it to people who are like waiting and watching outside.
Kind of genius.
Respect.
Yeah.
Respect.
Yeah.
And I do want to play at the beginning of this episode when the Secret Service agent shows up. I mean, the writers didn't have a ton of new material to write, but they did write some really funny jokes, including this one right here.
There's a man on our lawn.
Get the net. Well, hello there. Anything I can do for you? At least now she asks.
You know Blanche Devereaux wasn't joking. You know she has a giant net in her room that she uses to literally catch men.
I mean, and I'm into it.
When in that Christmas episode, when she said, "Catch me, catch me, catch me" to Santa Claus, she meant it. He just forgot to grab the net because he was holding his sack.
Literally or figuratively.
Oh. Yeah. I do want to talk about the Secret Service agent played by Timothy Stack.
Such a good character actor. He's been in so many things.
He was in Castaway. He was in My Name is Earl, Parker Lewis Can't Lose, one episode of La La. Most surprising to me, I don't know if I've ever noticed this before, he was the voice of Lampy in The Brave Little Toaster.
I don't know what that is.
What?
What is The Brave Little Toaster?
Are you messing with me right now?
No, I really don't. What is it? I mean, maybe I do know.
How
Remind me.
Are you a Disney adult?
Brave Little Toaster.
I know Brave Little Toaster isn't Disney, but how are you a Disney?
I mean, if it's not Disney, I wouldn't know it.
Do me a
What
favor. Pop a Goog. It's an animated feature motion picture about a brave little toaster.
I've literally, from 1987, so before my time, no, but quite literally before my time, because I was not watching stuff like that in 1987. It is Disney, actually. It is a Disney production. Is it a film?
Yeah, it's an animated movie. They made a bunch of them.
I've never heard of Brave Little Toaster before, but I will say there is, I mean, for the Disney fans out there, Ryan, are you listening? That there is a period before the new sort of renaissance of Disney with like Little Mermaid, etc., that like most of the movies were like, and I have a feeling this falls in that era of that where nobody cared.
What I need you
I'll
watch The Brave Little Toaster.
If it's on Disney Plus, I'll watch it. I'm gonna see if it's on Disney Plus.
Look right now.
I'm looking right now. Yes, I'm looking.
Aye. So another moment I want to point out is, so the Secret Service agent is like, "Hey, I'm here because I've been canvassing this house. I've been looking at it." And the president, during his motorcade, he wants to stop at one house along the way to dedicate the Senior Citizen Center, which that feels like small peanuts for a president to be doing, but okay. And he said, when he
was running for re-election, you know, every vote counts.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, they do stuff like that.
He famously did not know what a price of milk cost, and that was one of the things that cost him the election.
Yeah.
Or was that Reagan? We don't need to talk about him.
We don't need to talk about her. So when the Secret Service agent was like, you know, we chose this house because 4 senior citizens are living under one roof, it cut right to Blanche. And I was like, oh, Blanche is going to have a joke about like, well, I mean, 3, I'm only 35 after all. But she didn't. She just smiled. She had nothing to say. I was like, wow, she must really be excited at the possibility of meeting the president, that you're not going to lie about your age to this handsome man.
Or the literal writers are like, okay, we got nothing. We're done. We're done. Just
let her smile. If you I mean, those women were such professionals. They never would have like improvised, but you know what I mean? But I feel like Rue McClanahan could have really given some gold in that moment.
Or at the very least, just given a facial response. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
she just smiled.
She could have just been like, you know, like, or something, you know?
Or just like, not me. I don't know, anything.
Yeah.
So he sits with Blanche, he starts talking to her, and in these sort of clip moments, we get some classic Blanche moments. We get horny Blanche, the Corvette up on blocks, like the engine racing, like that whole thing. We get, I want to get my boobs done, Blanche, dirty dancing with Rose, damn, I'm good after going with Jake. And after hearing all of these stories, the Secret Service agent is like, please don't hit on the president.
I mean,
Do you think she would have?
oh, 1000%. Oh my God, yes. I mean, and frankly, this is going back to our early days of the podcast where I am unhinged and honest in ways that I think my footprint in the public sense was smaller then, so I had freedom,
Yeah.
I think, to say whatever I felt. And I'm going to go back to that for a second. I would sleep with him for the story. Like there's the level of attraction that is not required for me to do something for a story is like pretty low. And so I would do a Blanche, and I would totally sleep with the president, even Nixon, for a story.
I wouldn't.
Not for me to write the story, but for me to tell my friends. Because that's unethical to do that. Don't do that. Don't do that, people. But what I'm saying is, like, I would do it and then be like, Kerri, you're never going to believe what I did this weekend.
You could just lie.
But there's no fun in lying. No, you should know this. The first rule about comedy is the truth is always the way to go.
Yeah, I still wouldn't do it.
I can't fake that.
I still wouldn't do it. Yeah,
I can barely fake happiness.
I'm so sorry. You're having such a week.
I know.
Well, the Blanche, after we see all of the Blanche clips, they have her and the Secret Service guy have such a great exchange. As she's leaving the room, she's like, if you need to know anything more about me, I have pictures. And he goes, so do we.
Yeah. Which makes you wonder, how do they have the pictures? Are they looking into her window at night? Because now we all know that the pictures are on our phones. So like how
yeah, I think they were looking into her windows.
Can you imagine what Blanche's photo roll would be like her photo out? Like the things, they would all be blurry. Well,
she's always in motion.
But you would only see like maybe the outline of a dick, or maybe the outline of a boob, or maybe
you'd see like a sex swing coming together. Yeah.
Yes, but it would always be blurry, and then she would always have it in that, like, she'd have an iPhone, and you know those iPhones that have the little circle in the corner, the pictures that have the circle that then you can press on it and the pictures move because they were like they're real time
live
pictures
photos,
or whatever.
Yeah.
So like they would. All of Blanche's photos have that because she doesn't know how to turn it off, and they're all wildly inappropriate. So to see anything of Blanche having fun, you have to hold down the photo because the actual photo's too blurry.
That's so funny. That's not what I was picturing. I was picturing them like with like surveilling like Secret Service with like a long lens at like the McDowell's house next door, the jewelry thieves.
Yeah.
Because they go to prison and the house is probably empty for a while because
who wants to buy
reputation,
that house?
Who wants to buy
it? We would buy it. You and I would buy it.
Diamond thieves lived there, and their shoes don't match their purses. Like, ew, I don't want to live there.
No.
So then Rose enters. I don't know how Betty White said this with a straight face. Rose enters offering a plate of Flugelkaka.
You want to see my Flugelkaka?
I think I've talked about this the rest of the Anger Happy Hour, how my child right now, little Oreo, thinks poop and pee is so funny and changes the lyrics to, like, we put on a song and she doesn't know it. Like, I think Stan was driving with her and he was like putting on Disney songs and Let It Go came on and she was like, pee and poop, because she doesn't know the words. She makes up all her own songs. She goes, pee's funny, poop's funny, toots are funny.
I like how you say pee and poop is something that only children find funny, in which we all know it continues to be funny well into middle age.
I mean, that's true. That's some of the best Golden Girls jokes. Like, there's no way you heard that from down the hall.
Yeah, like how many grandpas have made entire relationships based around pull my finger?
Yeah, no, that's true. That's very true. Yeah, but yeah, Flugelkaka. Oh my gosh, I have to work that into a song for Little Oreo. So with her talking to the Secret Service guy, we just get a bunch of her fun moments of St. Olaf stories. We get Ollie Newton-Springle and his wife Olga, herring juggling, cooking up the Spearhoven Crispies, and all that stuff's really funny. It's also really funny at the start of the scene when he's like, so St. Olaf, tell me about this place. And she's like so shocked. He's like, are you okay? She's like, yeah, it's just nobody's ever asked me before.
Which, this is me being Kerri CSI. How do the Secret Service have pictures of Blanche potentially in the naughty, but they don't know about St. Olaf.
I think they do. I think they're just trying to
They
get
just
her
want
to
her.
talk and open up. Yeah, they're just
Got
trying to
it.
get a sense of who she is. So it's like,
Wow.
you know,
Well,
it's like
I mean, if they know so much, how do they not know that her gym teacher was Ava Braun?
ooh,
Or
that's
Hitler.
really
Wait,
good.
which one was her gym teacher? Hitler or Ava? I forget.
Well, they were both her teachers.
Yeah, but who
Oh,
taught?
that's
Well,
really
whatever.
good.
So yeah, her teachers were Hitler.
Yeah, that would be, ooh, if that came out.
Can you imagine that on your file? I wonder what's on my file. I mean,
Oh,
Hitler
yeah,
didn't
what's-
teach me. I don't know. He was dead. I mean, I assume he's dead. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what would be in my file.
My file would
But-
just be like one long run-on sentence being like, "It's not worth it. Don't even call."
Yeah. When I know like all of our devices are listening, I'm like, great, good for you. I literally have nothing worth listening to.
know.
I'm
Whenever
so
people-
sorry for anybody
whenever
who's
people-
having to tap into
I-
my phone.
Yeah, I know. Well, now we're inviting it. But like, whenever people put stickers over their cameras and everything, I'm always like, trust me, if they want to see my fucking tummy hanging over my pee-pee, then they can. Because like, I ain't ashamed of it. I ain't ashamed of it. And also, you're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I don't mind. I don't
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah. Yeah. me too.
Hi, Russia.
Hi. Hi.
People listening are screaming right now, being like, "Cover up your cameras!"
I know.
While we film ourselves. Yes,
I know. Well, we
get it.
film ourselves all the time. The
Yeah.
one thing I liked, I did really enjoy, well, all of the women, most of the women were excited that George Bush was coming.
Except
Dorothy's actually jotting down a few things that she wants to say to him.
Which one of the girls would you be in this situation of the level of excitement for the president coming?
I don't know. I feel like Sophia is going to try to make money off of it. So I feel like maybe that would be me.
I feel like I would probably go in. I mean, I would either go in the Blanche direction or the Sophia direction. I feel like I don't think I would care to tell off the president because I don't think it would. I mean, this is just me being a cynical person, but I don't think it would do
Yeah.
anything or matter. So
Yeah.
like, part of me is like, okay, well, why don't I get off or like make some money? Which I mean, you know, you're listening to a podcast of people thinking that we have enough authority to talk to people and have people listen. So maybe that sounds vain. I don't know, but like, hey,
HAlanScott / Sadie Pines meets the president. Why don't I get off or make some money?
it's true.
Write that for Newsweek. So what I do like about what I like about this episode and what I like about Dorothy. So
I love
first,
Dorothy in both these episodes, to be honest. Dorothy is the standout to me.
she is. And I like that. So she says that she's like, you know, he calls himself the education president. She's mentioning all these issues with the country's current state of education. And the women are actually concerned that she's going to be a little too hot-headed when he comes by. And we actually see those moments. We see Mr. Haha's hot dog hacienda fiasco, which honestly is like justified hot-headedness. If Dorothy is justified in her anger in any of those moments, it's at Mr. Haha's hot dog hacienda. We get the famous towel moment that we just covered, which again, I want to see like a labyrinth of these lines sort of written in a swirl of the parade of endless sexual encounters that you have experienced up and down the Florida coastline with only this towel between your hot flesh and the cold, wet sand. I want to see that written in a spiral on like a little labyrinth.
I wonder if that monologue is the equivalent of the night the lights went out in Georgia from Designing Women.
See, I didn't watch Designing Women. You need to call our mutual friend, Jonathan Bradley Welch, and talk about Designing Women. Because remember, Designing Women is not the Brave Little Toaster, by the way. So before you make that face.
It's better.
I know. A lot of people like Designing Women. I actually think it's a fine show. I've seen episodes of it, but
amazing.
Yeah,
show.
I just
amazing program. It's amazing.
Just never.
Okay, we need to take a break on that note. I have to process this. So we'll be right back. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Please don't be mad. And we are back, and we are not speaking currently. So I'll just go ahead.
I know it does.
Keep reading from my notes.
It does surprise me. Like back in the day, because I don't know. Were you at the show that Elliot and I did in Brooklyn, the Designing Women versus Golden Girls show? Were you at that show? I don't think you were.
No, but I heard about it.
Yeah. I held up the role of Designing Women in that story because Elliot just didn't know Designing Women, and I feel like that's the case with a lot of Golden Girls fans. I would be curious to know how many of you are Designing Women fans, because I mean I am a huge Designing Women fan. I have the Dolly Parton episode with Jean Smart, the two-parter where she gives birth, is just like one of the best. It's just one of the best ever on television, and it's just such a good show. I would love to know who loves it of the Golden Girls. I'm sure there's some crossover too. Like, I mean, we have Misak Taylor, of course, who played Anthony is in the first episode of Golden Girls. So like there is that, but yeah, I wonder how much more crossover of guest stars there are. I'm sure there's a bunch.
Was Debbie Reynolds ever on it?
No, not that I know of. No.
Okay. Well, no. Okay.
No.
So, I love it when Blanche says, "Oh, Dorothy, don't ever antagonize a man who can answer the question, 'You in what army?'" I did like that joke. So what I like is Dorothy's talking about all of her issues with the president and also just stuff that's going on in the country that she's concerned about. She talks about age discrimination, women's rights. We see Rose struggling to get a job because of ageism in the workforce. We see Blanche being propositioned by her teacher to get a better grade. And what I like that these episodes, I think, were written because these writers, Susan Harris, I think they all agreed that, these were issues people were facing. So they wrote about it. And that's what's so great about all these episodes of the Golden Girls. But now in this episode, they're flat out saying, hey, all these issues that you've seen our characters, these women dealing with for the past 5 seasons, like our president could be fixing some of this fucking stuff, but he ain't doing it. So it's like a little bit more on the nose.
Yes.
And then another thing I really liked messaging wise from the Golden Girls, from these writers, from Susan Harris, is then when the Secret Service agent is like, comes back and he's like, yeah, so the president's not going to stop by and see you. He actually wants to see a more typical family. They point out that they are typical, that chosen families aren't unique.
Yeah.
And I loved that. And I loved that they showed all those moments of the women being there for each other, staying up all night with Rose, trying to help her kick her sleeping pill addiction, making a pact. They'll always take care of each other. Sophia appreciating that Doherty doesn't treat her like a little kid. Like, it's really sweet. It highlights the whole point of the show. And I loved the messaging of this one. That's why I think this one to me felt different than a regular clip show.
Well, it also is just like, it's the cornerstone of the show in a lot of ways, which I think is also the cornerstone of why so many queer people love it so much. I mean, we're coming off the heels of Pride Month, and like, I think just that message of like chosen family and of, people like, you might have a great family, but also like your friend family is just as important. I don't know what I would do without my friend family, especially being as far away from my actual family as I am. It's like it's you rely on those people and you spend more time with them than you do sometimes your actual family.
Yeah. Wild. So I really liked that messaging. I really liked, I really liked that about this episode. But then after they tell, we see all these clips, they're obviously telling the Secret Service agent about how they are a typical family and how they're a very special family and a wonderful family. The Secret Service guy comes back and he's like, okay, I convinced the president, like, your story is beautiful. He's going to come to your house. Do you think the president would be bothered to make that kind of decision? Like, is the Secret Service agent actually, and would a Secret Service agent actually be like conducting these interviews and figuring this stuff out? It seems like it wouldn't be their job, would it?
Yeah, it would be an advanced person, I would think. If they're dealing with the president, the Secret Service is not communicating.
Would it be like a chief of staff?
No, it would
someone
not be
below
a chief of
them.
staff. That's too high.
No, that's too high, right?
It would be an advanced person. So like there are advanced people at the White House and on campaigns and other things that basically go to a place before the president or the elected official gets to the place to make sure that like the people are in place, the people are ready for the stuff, everything is good. Like, it's just an advanced person. And oftentimes the vetting of people that who you see in photos and who you see standing behind a president and all of those things are all the result of like advanced people basically communicating and seeing what's gonna, and I hate to say this, but visually and demographically help the president in whatever they're trying to do, be it re-election or messaging or whatever it is. And so, yeah, it would be like an advanced person. It would not be a Secret Service. The Secret Service would then look into the people that are going to be around the president, of course, but they wouldn't send the Secret Service to do like the interviewing of the people and deciding who it's going to be. That said, I do think this is watch Veep. Veep is such a good show, but there's a great episode where she's announcing, I don't think she's announcing her presidency, but she's announcing some big initiative, and she's gathering all of the people, and she needs like an old person, and she needs a black person, and she needs a gay person, and she needs a mom, and she needs all these people. And the way in which they speak of the people as if they are only down to that one little thing about them, and the way the campaign absurdly sort of tries to assemble all of these people, it's such a funny episode. I think it's like season 2 maybe, or 3. It's such a funny episode, but it is so indicative of, I remember when I worked on campaigns, and like the way in which they would decide who gets to be in a photo with a candidate is wild to me. It is
like
not
selecting jurors for a trial.
Yes, but it's selecting people that are going to help shape whatever demographic they're trying to get votes from, which is just so, it's all so icky to me.
Yeah, I know. It's a game. It's people playing a game.
It is a game. It is a game. And I'm just like, stand next to me. I might look bloated, but I'm fun.
Mm-hmm. Optics. Well, when the Secret Service agent is like, hey, the president's coming to your house, I want to play the women's reactions. This is what ends the episode. And I'm assuming the script probably, had his line, and then it said like, off of the women's shocked reactions, we fade to black, end of episode. But they hold on the women for so long. So he's like, the president's coming to your house. The president's coming. There, that's the tone. That's the way I should have said it at the beginning. So he says it, and then all the women are like, and they just, for the longest, and then the only one who speaks is Rose, like barely right before they fade out. And she goes, how did you do that? And I just wanted to play it because it was so, I get it. It's the end of the episode. They don't have any lines, but it was, I don't know. It was a little awkward for me in the cutest way.
Let's play it, and then I'll say my thing coming back.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I'm here to tell you that tomorrow, the President of the United States will be coming to your house.
Oh, my. How did you do that?
I think one of the things with this clip is that, like, for them, if you're correct in that it aired the same night, it was just a commercial break. So it wasn't even like a end of episode type thing.
Oh, yeah. No, I know.
Yeah.
It's the amount of time that we see the women on screen after he makes that announcement. It was just a little too long.
Yeah.
Where if you think about it, like the president's coming. Oh my God, that's what you'd immediately react.
This is a bit of a clunky episode. I like it. Don't get me wrong. It's an enjoyable episode. You know what episode I watched recently? No, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to save that because we might watch it. We might do a rewind of it.
Ooh.
But I kind of want to watch it. Maybe that'll be my birthday episode. Which is next week, oh my God, we haven't decided what we're doing for
I know. It's that you get the rose. You get to pick which episode you want to watch for your birthday. And then can we do it for my birthday? Because I really like this idea. Okay, thank you.
Let's do it.
Okay, thank you.
We can watch anything we want. Maybe I could go crazy. Okay, so what should I watch? Marsha Posner Williams' Real Sex episode?
Oh, if you can find that, how about we do that for the Rusty Anchor Happy Hour?
No, I can't, but I will. We're gonna do it.
What a great gift.
I totally am blanked now on what I was gonna say. So
well, we were talking about what episode we're maybe gonna watch for your birthday episode next week. We're still figuring it out.
Yeah. No, so this is a good episode. It's a clunky episode. It's not one that I would revisit often. It's not I don't see it in rotation a lot either. Like I don't see it on TV Land.
I don't watch I don't watch the clip show episodes too much in rotation.
Yeah, I guess I don't. But Yeah, no, but it is. I mean, it's fun, and I like the idea of, and I like the actual when we do the next episode a year from now. I do like when George H.W. Bush actually comes to the door.
Yeah, which we'll cover next year when we break down part 2.
I wonder where we're gonna be in a year.
I know, isn't that wild? We're gonna have to next year. We're gonna have to play a clip. Why don't we say something to our future selves a year from now, and then if I remember or we remember, we'll put it into the episode. So, Kerri, on this 4th of July, 2025, I hope you look just as young. I don't know. I don't know what to say to myself. What would you say to yourself a year from now?
I know exactly what to say to myself. H. Allen, a year ago, you started Ozempic, and you have since recently switched to Manjaro. So I hope that you are looking happy and healthy, and let's be real, skinny as fuck.
That was a good one. I like that both of ours were incredibly vain. All right, should we take a break and come back with our golden takeaways?
We're horrible people. And we are back with our golden takeaway, which is a nugget of truth or inspiration that you can apply to your life or the lives of our listeners. Kerri, what is your golden takeaway from this episode?
I didn't actually come up with one for this episode.
Oh.
But I would say my golden takeaway is...
You have to think. Oh.
I think I'm going to come up with I think I'm going to make up my own dessert, and I think it's going to be really chocolatey and creamy, and I'm going to name it Flugelkaka.
Flugelkaka.
I am going to make my own Flugelkaka, and it is going to be brown, and it's going to be messy.
I like that.
That's my golden takeaway. What's your golden takeaway?
My golden takeaway from this episode is...
You didn't think of one either.
No, I did.
Oh, okay.
I did. I have one. I just wanted to sing because I'm a great singer, despite what Mr. Elliot Glazer likes to say about me.
Calling him out.
Can you believe that motherfucker? Okay. My golden takeaway is, guys, it's 2024, and you know what that means. The election is right upon us. It is vastly important, and I don't want to tell you who to vote for. I don't want to tell you why you should vote. Well, I do want to tell you why you should vote. It's very important. But I do want to tell you that even though it is a presidential election year and you should vote for your presidents and your senators and your Congress people and all of those things, you should also be very, very, very invested in your local elections. I'm talking state, I'm talking local, and I'm talking municipal too. Like I'm talking like down to like the people down the street who are just representing you in your block and stuff, because those are the people that are going to have one of the biggest impacts on your day-to-day lives. And it's important that we get engaged. And I don't give a fuck what your politics are, what party you belong to, who you voted for in the past, or who you support tomorrow. All I give a fuck about is that you get registered to vote and you educate yourself on the people that are running in your local and state areas and federal too. Like I care about that, but just go fucking vote. It's so easy. And
don't skip the judges. I know that there are always so many judges that you have to read about and Google, but please take the time. Give yourself like 2 weeks, a week before you have to mail your ballot back in or drop it off or go vote in person. Please, please remember the judges too.
Yeah, and the judges wear the best outfits, so care about them as well.
When you're upset that somebody is, wrongfully convicted in prison and their appeals are being shot down, whatever, vote for those judges.
Or just like do the research and vote for who you think you should best supports you. That's all you should do. I don't care about your politics. I'm very firmly in the space of like, do you, but just vote, just vote and educate
That was a great
yourself.
one.
That's my golden take. I just pulled a Dorothy, y'all. I had something to say and I'm going to give you a piece of my mind.
I'm so glad that you did. Well, everyone, this has been another episode of Out on the Lanai. Again, if you want to join the GGVIP Club, you can do that over at patreon.com/Golden Girls Podcast. And you get weekly bonus content. We do live watch-alongs. You get interviews with cast and crew and, people that just the writers on the show. It's absolutely fantastic. We hope you will check it out. And there's even some free stuff too. So sign up for a free account.
Yes, I also want to add something to my golden takeaway because I just got charged for my thing that I think is important to how you elect and how you vote. Sign up for your local newspapers to subscribe to your local newspapers. They will help you in your decision making and understanding what's happening in your local community. I subscribe to 3 different newspapers. Thank you very much. And I think it is very important to not only support journalism, but also it's a great way to understand who is running for what and what's happening in your local area. And that might help you when you go to vote. Okay, that's it. So you guys, you should go to Mom and support Mom Plus and all of those wonderful things because we are a part of Millions of Media. And you can also follow us on the socials at Golden Girls Pod on the XXX. You can also go to Out on the Lanai Official on the Metagram. Ooh. You can go to Golden Girls Pod on the Facegram. Or you can follow me on everything at HAlanScott / Sadie Pines.
And I am Squidzy on Instagram and Squid Eat Squid on Twitter. And you can also watch a video version of this episode this upcoming Monday. Just go to YouTube and type in Out on the Lanai and punch that subscribe button. That's all the YouTubers say.
Button. Push that.
Oh, you got your fan out. All right, here, I have a little piece of cardboard. I'll fan myself.
I'm ready. Oh,
and
my God.
Did I say I'm Squid Eat Squid on Twitter and Squidzy on Instagram?
Yeah.
You all know that. I don't remember if I said it.
You know where to find us. We're
you know where to find us.
We're queer. Get used to it. And as always,
remember.
Oh my God, stay
golden
and vote. 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 Vote.
Out on the Lanai is not endorsed by Whit Thomas Harris Productions, Touchstone Television, Disney, or any of its subsidiaries. It is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only.
All names, pictures, audio, and video clips of the Golden Girls are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of their respective trademark and/or copyright holders.